guys, we have just smashed the 50k subscriber mark, and if you watch this video to the end, I'm giving back. I'm going to be telling you how you can be off to Mercedes-Benz World for an amazing day of off-roading in a G63 for absolutely nothing, for free. You're getting off to Mercedes-Benz World for free. I'm giving back to my supporters for free. But first, as you can see, we're driving my M2 competition. This is an extended episode. We've done tons of work. Stay tuned to see how you can get involved in this and see all the work that we've just done. Coming up in this crazy extended episode to celebrate 50k, we're going on a road trip. I found tons of damage on the M2 that I didn't expect. I got tons of new parts from today's sponsors. We done a major smart repair, and we got through tons of work. We're gonna be fitting, pulling, measuring, jigging. Trust me, it's gonna be mad. Hello guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another episode on this car, which is my 2019 BMW M2 Competition. In the last episode, I went ghost hunting.
We found the ghost immobilizer inside the car.
Yeah.
We reset it.
Yeah.
Put in a new pin.
Yeah. Happy days. Happy days. Thanks to the guys over at Lux Automotive, and now I've got a running, functioning M2 Competition. Or at least I thought I did. So yesterday I was moving the car into this area. I got a notification to say that I need to top up the oil by 1 litre. I topped up the oil and literally there was oil everywhere on the bottom. As soon as I topped it up, I've always checked the oil, and that's the thing that I hate about these kind of cars. The newer cars with no dipstick, you have to do it by the computer in the car. It says that the oil was okay. So now I'm hoping that I didn't damage my engine, because clearly there's an issue, is leaking oil. I'll show it to you in a second. There's a ton of oil underneath. But before we get into that, if you remember also in the last episode, I also showed you that I found out the chassis was bent. Well, I've come up with a very nice way of sorting it. I went around to some local garages and they were quite pricey. So I thought to myself, if I'm gonna pay the money to get it done, why not pay the money and buy my own jig, do it myself, and then I can do it for future builds. So check these shots out of me and Gary leaving at 5 a.m, 4 hours away from the garage. We picked up this used jig. It's an old school jig, however, it will get the job done, and I'll be able to jig and pull further builds. And once we get that sorted, we're gonna be pulling the chassis, getting it on the ramp, and I wanna investigate why this car is leaking oil. So this episode is going to be a major episode for the build. If all goes to plan, we should be able to take the car out for our first test drive. So let's go. So guys, massive shout out to Gary. He came and picked me up from the Essen garage at 5:30 a.m. I know it looks bright, but it's literally, I'm dead to the world. But anyway, we made our way up the M40 and we're heading to an area called Ely. I haven't even heard of it, but in a few hours, it's now 9:30 and we made it there. And have a look at all this equipment I'm picking up for the new Essen garage. This particular jig is a Data Liner 800, and this thing is old school, but it packs a serious punch. It's got tons and tons of pulling power, and this means that moving forward for the M2 build and future builds, pulling chassis and straightening chassis should be light work. Now, when I saw this thing in the pictures, it looked big, but when I saw it in person, it is huge and it is heavy. So we took ages to get it all loaded up, but once it was all loaded up, it was time to hit the roads and head back to the garage. Alrighty guys, let's get back. 3 hours, let's go.
About 10 to 1.
10 to 1, banging time for the Premier League final. Arsenal for the trophy, come on! So guys, now that you've seen my new jig, I've got to give a massive shout out and a massive thank you to today's channel sponsors. This video is sponsored by no other than LLL Parts, and the reason why I'm thanking them is because they have made this video a lot more easier to produce, because they've provided a ton of parts for the build. So that means I can go ahead and get all of these new parts fitted to the car and hopefully take the car for our first test drive. But if you're in the market for any parts for your build, if it's a Mini, BMW, Audi, or any VAG group car, click the link down below, check out LLL Parts, and if you use the discount code right here on the screen, you're gonna get a nice little discount. Now, to maintain the safety of the engine, I got a ton of rads. Ignore the cable ties. It's not aesthetically pleasing, however, it allows me to run coolant in the system, and I did all of this off camera. The car is holding coolant very nicely, and that meant when I was moving the car in and out of the garage, I was happy to know that the engine was safe, or at least I thought so. Have a look at all of the grits. I've had to put all the grits down. You can see that there's a massive spill, like I said. So guys, now that I've cleaned the grits away, you can see that's a massive oil leak. That's not a little bit of oil. I'm scared. I don't know what I'm gonna find underneath there, but it's clearly something that I've missed. Oh, let's go, let's go. Yep, found it, definitely missed that. Have a look. You see guys, the joys of having a ramp. When the car came, I didn't have my ramp installed yet. Remember I was looking under here in episode 1, but I looked all the way around here, that's all I could see, but now the car's on the ramp. Look into, where is it? Yeah, have a look in there. Have a look right in there. You can see there's a tiny little crack, and that's the oil sump. Let me have a look and see. I'll have a look to see how much these oil sumps are. And in this episode, I need to change this subframe. So whilst I'm changing the subframe, it may delay it, but whilst I'm changing the subframe, I guess it would be a good idea to change that as well if we do want to drive this car. So yeah, that is my issue. And that brings me to one of the tips that I said in the previous video. Guys, with salvage cars, expect the unexpected, man. Nothing is as it seems. So guys, I am absolutely gutted to find this new damage. Well, it's old damage, but clearly I missed it. And what I'm doing is just stripping down all of the front suspension components so I can gain access to the subframe. That's got to come out so I can remove the sump. Meanwhile, check out all of these parts that were provided by LLL Parts. They've provided oil hoses, oil coolers, a brand new front subframe. This thing is worth over £800, and yeah, thank you to LLL Parts. All right, you guys, so as not to bore you, I went ahead off camera and I dropped the control arms, the power steering pump right there, and I've got everything off of this subframe because as you can see here, we've got some crazy damage on that subframe. This subframe is ready to drop. However, I can't drop it yet. I've got a special device in the back that's going to support the weight of the engine, because on this model, the engine actually sits on that subframe. If I loosen those bolts, everything's going to come falling down and I'm going to be in a lot more trouble than I am right now. But with all of those components out of the way, you can see the damage that I saw earlier a lot better. So you can see where that nut, where that bolt would have gone through, it's just made contact with the oil sump, but I still need to get it off the car, and to do that, I need to get the subframe off. And like I said, you've seen all of these parts that were supplied by LLL Parts, but if you need any parts for your build, check out LLL Parts and use the discount code on the screen right now. With all of that said, I've got a ton of work still to do, so I'm gonna put you on a time lapse and I'm gonna get to work. So the first thing I need to do is support the weight of the engine with this device. I'm going to chain the engine to this. This is going to sit on the top chassis arms, and the entire weight of the engine is going to be supported here so that myself and Steve-O can go ahead and tear down the bottom end. So they always say 2 heads are better than 1. Well, I'm saying 2 pair of arms are always better. So we're making light work of this, and the vibes are running high in the garage. So is the lighting all right? You can see, because I adjusted it, you can see everything?
You're looking a bit dark in the face.
Because I'm black.
Yeah, I'm being racist.
Because I'm black, Ollie. I told you the vibes are high. I always love to have fun whenever I'm working on these cars, and we're making great progress. And as you can see, that broken subframe is out of there. You can see how distorted it is. My guy Steve-O got that out of there. And now you can see what we're left with, and we've got a better view of all the damage on that oil sump. Now, one of the things I was worried about is there any oil in this engine? Have a look at this. Alright, so guys, so that was a lot easier than I expected. This is my damaged rear subframe. This is my damaged front subframe. And as I'm looking at it, I'm even seeing more damage. Have a look at that. Obviously, I had to cut some of it to relieve the tension when I was taking that suspension control arm out. But yeah, that's just a mess. But luckily, thanks to LLL Parts, I've got a brand new unit right there, and we should be fitting that later on in this episode. But for now, I'm tackling this. I've been showing you all along, as you can see, no, you can't even see that. There we go, that's better. So as you can see, it's got a hole right there. So what we're gonna do now is, Steve just opened up the oil sump, and I was actually really worried because before the oil coming out on the floor yesterday, I was thinking, oh my God, did I damage the engine? Like, I got away lucky and did I just ruin it? However, there's quite a lot of oil that's just come out. So we're happy about that. All we're gonna do now is remove some more ancillaries to gain access to these screws here, and hopefully that should drop that oil sump. And let me know, do you think we can weld this? Do you think it's safe to weld it? Let me know in the comments down below. But for now, let's continue. Oh, sorry, son. Does that get you? Fucking hell. Come on, man, I've just done the floors. So guys, this is what the bottom of a S55 engine looks like. It's actually in really good condition. Oil pickup, there's no bits of metal that I can see. That's one of the things I was worried about. But now we've got the sump off, let's explore this damage and see if it's fixable or not. So guys, it's the next morning. As you can see, we left it exactly where we left off yesterday. I've actually been doing a bit of research and I found a company that does alley welding. I'm gonna hop in the R8 and I'm gonna take this down to see them, and hopefully they can weld it up. If I can't get it welded, I've done some more research also. This is £600. The cheapest used one that I've seen is 400 quid. From the dealership is about 650 plus VAT. And if I've got to pay that, I'll be crying. So, wish me luck. So after a short drive, I made it down to Riverside Sheet Metal and Fabrication Limited and met the guy inside called Danny. I explained to him everything that was wrong with the sump. He said he should be able to do something. This is how we got on. Top guy, top company. We'll definitely be doing more work with them. So guys, I've got the part. The guys over at Riverside Sheet Metal and Fabrication, they're so good, they're so good. They've just saved me 600 quid. So let's head back to the garage, get this on the car, fill it up with oil, change the subframe. There's so much to do, let's go. After a few hours, I cleaned everything up, reassembled the baffle, and anxiously got the sump back onto the car. We're gonna be filling this up, and fingers crossed, there are no more oil leaks. On the way back, I stopped off and I picked up a brand new torque wrench. This is something that I always needed to pick up anyway. So this means that once I'm fitting the sump, I can torque the screws to the correct specification. So without further ado, let's continue. Alright guys, so the oil pan is back in place. These little bolts, I've torqued them down to 8 Newton meters and then 180 degrees rotation. That's what I read online, so that's what I followed. So this is all in place now. What I want to do now is fill it up with some oil before reassembling everything, just to make sure that there's no leaks, obviously to make sure that the weld is all good. I was reassured that the weld is all right, but I just want to fill it up with oil before continuing, because it would be a pain if I reassembled everything and then I find out it's leaking oil everywhere. So let's get the car down. I was told the S55 engine takes 6.9 liters of oil, so let's fill it up. So with 6.9 liters in, I'm just going to clean up all the oil and monitor. If any new oil comes seeping out, then I'll know that I've got a problem. Now, I want to give a massive shout out to the Bearded Man company. If you've got a beard and you need to maintain that beard, make sure you check them out. The products that they provide is class. Anyway, we're making great progress on everything, so I'll leave you to enjoy how we got on. Alright you guys, so that brand new shiny alloy front subframe from the guys over at LLL Parts have been fitted to the car. You saw I've done the oil sump, still no oil leaks, I'm very happy about that. But what I'm not happy about is, have a look here, I knew this was going to happen, it's not lining up. Have a look at that. It's just missing the hole ever so slightly, and that's because, like I said in the last episode, this chassis leg is bent. This side didn't fare that bad, and everything has gone in. As you can see, that's nice and flush. But this one, it's not that bad. But that brings us to the next part of the video. So now it's time to get the car on the jig, and we're gonna do some pulling. But guys, have a look at that new shiny, I love shiny parts. Come on, come on. So I got the car loaded up on the jig, but I want to show you this. Have a look at these pictures. This is the data sheet from the manufacturers, and this data sheet is going to give me all the measuring points, the measurements, where everything is meant to be, and this is going to help me along with my new jig to get this chassis in tip-top form. Alright you guys, so I did just a few little short pulls and I just wanted to point something out. I've switched the lights off, I've got the lasers on, it's self-leveling. If you look right here, I've got the laser pointed to the top of this driver's side chassis leg. Now, have a look here. You'll see the laser is running here. Now, I'm trusting this laser system is self-leveling, so that means that I need to continue to pull this down until the laser is up at the same point. Like this side, have a look at that, get out of the way. So yeah, more pulling to do, but I'm doing it in little short bursts, little stages. I don't want to pull too much. So I'm gonna stick you down and yeah, let's just really go for it now. So after some short pulls, I've turned on the laser system just to make sure that I'm not going too far. And as you can see, it's actually looking a lot better. Just a reminder, the entire weight of the engine is supported, and I've dropped the subframe again so that both chassis legs are completely free from any weight which would aid in the pulling process. Alright you guys, so another few hours have gone by. You saw earlier I made sure that it was all level with the lasers. Have a look at this thing, everything is all working right there. When I went ahead and I fitted the front slam panel, I noticed that these were way out. I reconfigured the jig and I needed to pull it that way. And now, after a bit more jigging, this is my tram gauge that came with the jig. As you can see on this scale, let me get that to focus. Come on, focus. I am measuring 47 right there on that line. It says 47, and if I come back to this side, as you can see the little line, I'm bang on the money. And what I am measuring is the screw hole for the front slam panel, one on the outer, one on the outer, and they should be all square. I'm measuring 47 on either side. So I know that my chassis legs are level, and now I know that everything has been realigned to the correct specification. And remember guys, I'm working off the spec sheet. It's gonna give me the exact measurements of where everything is supposed to be, and I'm happy with that. It just looks dead straight. I don't know how that's coming across on camera, but in person, it's coming across dead straight. It's not just a matter of looking. We're measuring it all up with the tram gauge, the lasers, everything, and everything is tallying up. So I believe that I am done. It's getting quite late, but I just want to show you a couple of things. I've just bought this big old jig for quite a lot of money, but when I went down to the guys over at Riverside Metal Fabricators, they have made this thing. And this thing is gonna change the game. In the next episode, I'm gonna show you exactly what this is, how it works, and how this is just gonna change the game for the Essen garage. And yeah, this is just a lovely, convenient, tiny bit of kit, and it packs a punch. So guys, with the help of the jig, the tram gauge, the spec sheet, have a look at all the bolt holes, everything is lining up perfectly, and now it's finally time to go ahead and reassemble the front end for the final time. This is a major moment, so check these shots out. Next up was the locks, and with them in place, before closing it down, you have to do a check. There you go. And with them all working, I went ahead and buckled down the bonnet. Next up, I topped up the cooling system with some concentrated coolant, topped it up with some water, and we're good to go. So guys, there you have it, man. This episode has been a crazy ride. We've gone over 500 miles. We overcame so many obstacles, but look at the result. The bonnet is opening and closing like a hot knife through butter. We sorted out the oil leak. We've got that oil pan. Well, I'm gonna see how that goes over the next few weeks or months, but if it starts to leak, I'll just order a new one. But I'm showing you don't always have to chuck tons of money to sort a problem out, and that's exactly what we've done. Now have a look at this icon headlight, and the car's not even finished yet, and I went ahead and I modded it. Have a look at the yellow day running lights. This thing is gonna look so sick by the time I'm done with it. I love the blue and the yellow. It's an age-old combination. It's gonna be sick. I've bled all the coolant pipes, the fan's kicking in, everything is working. And speaking of fans, I wanna give a massive shout out to one of my subscribers called Chris. After I dropped the first episode, my guy Chris hit me up and said, look bro, I've just been rebuilding an M2. I bought it about a month before you did. I got a good deal on a complete front end, and I've got a ton of parts that you might be interested in. Man, Chris, thank you very much. And your brother as well. I'll show some pictures of your project. You guys are doing it in your back garden, and I love it. You're motivating me to get this car finished, and trust me, once we're all done, I'm gonna come meet up with you and show the guys your project, and obviously you can check out this. So I just wanted to give a massive shout out to Chris and his brother, and a massive thank you to today's sponsors. I couldn't have gotten this far without LLL parts, so don't forget to click the link down below. Use the discount code if you're short for any parts for your build, if you've got a BMW Mini or VAG Group car. Well, if all of that said, I've been waiting to do something on this car for a long time, and now that we've got coolant in the system, everything is safe, let's get the car outside, let it get warmed up, and I want to see what this car can do. I want to see what it sounds like. So before we go, let's take the M2 for a little rip. So with everything finally bolted down, check out the new oil coolers from LLL Parts, the new rads, check out those lines, everything is looking amazing. It's time to go ripping, and don't forget I'm doing the 50K giveaway at the end. So guys, there you have it. I think this is the perfect time to end this video. This video, we've done quite a lot of work, but if I get out of the way, you can still see there's tons of work left to do on my M2 competition. And if you want to see how we get on, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And speaking of subscribers, this is the video that I'm going to be taking all the comments for the 50k subscribers giveaway, and you're going to be walking away with all of this. Inside these lovely gift boxes are 2 vouchers for one of you lucky people and your family to go over to Mercedes-Benz World over in Weybridge, and you're going to have an amazing day of off-roading in the Mercedes G63 to say thank you for subscribing to the channel. And this part is very important. This is the video I'm going to be taking stock. All you need to do is subscribe to Salvage Nation, follow me on Instagram, and leave a comment in this video, but the comment must start with #Merc. I'll put it on the screen, #Merc, plus your comment. You can write any comment you like, whatever you want to say to me or to the guys on the channel, but your comment must start with #Merc. At the end of this video, I'm going to be tallying everything up. I'm going to be randomly choosing one of your comments, but the search phrase that I'm going to be using is #Merc. So make sure you do not forget to start your comment with #Merc. I'm going to pick one comment and I'm going to be posting these out to you. It's for the young drivers. I'm trying to empower the young drivers. If you're under 18, you don't have a license, this one is for you. But for you and the entire family, you're going to be loaded into that G63. You're going to be going around the off-road course. It's going to be sick. That's the other one. Both of them is going to one lucky subscriber and is absolutely free. So don't forget, and this is where we're going to head off. So like I always say, I'm going to be watching out for all the comments in this video only. This video right now, you must be subscribed. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you follow me on Instagram. Send me proof on Instagram, and you could be heading off to Mercedes-Benz World. So like I always say, keep it moving, and I'll see you in the next one. We hit 50k, baby. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed that, why don't you check out one of my previous videos on the left? There's plenty in the playlist. And if you want to know more about the Salvage game, why don't you become a member of Salvage Nation, and I'll be there to guide you along the way. And don't forget, you can follow me on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram if you want to get an inside scoop before YouTube.